Newsfirst Shaukat Ali.
Good morning and a very warm welcome to Newsline, live from the Newsfirst studios in Dawson Street in Colombo. And joining me this morning is, as usual, my colleague Bandulajai Sekram.
Good morning, Honorable Shaukat Ali.
Oh, thank you very much.
Because
Bandula is on his way to...
MPs are not honorable, so we have to call you honorable.
Indeed. Bandula is on his setting off to Adams Peak shortly, and he hopes to bring you a program all the way from Adams Peak. He's fitter than I am. Also joining us this morning is Mr. Lasil De Silva, the former Director Administration of the Sri Lanka's Parliament and also formerly at Pressifac. But this morning, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you very much.
And Lasil, what on earth is happening? They're fighting in Parliament, they've hit each other, they've not only enough trading insults, but they've now descended to a new law. The depths of depravity is it's not worth speaking about. The papers are full of it.
And the Parliament has become bloodied. There's
Parliament
blood.
has become bloodied, and they've been given a 1-week suspension. I think it's wholly inadequate. What do you think as a former Director of Administration?
I think I'm in agreement with you. Parliament, for all purposes, is the place where the legislative role, oversight, representation is done. Now, in a similar situation, when you think of Parliament, we have to set an example, because there it is the place where people's intentions, hopes, aspirations, all that is discussed.
Yeah.
For that matter, ultimately policies are decided, taken up, policies are implemented, have to be decided. The most important thing is, in my view, over the last couple of years, during the, I think, past 2 decades, day by day, things have not been improving, and the situation is deteriorating. For that matter, again, I would say, I know in Parliament, even after this Parliament was elected, there was a training program
to train new
MPs,
right?
And there they intended to inculcate, the kind of, say, the experience, the teachings, procedures, and all that.
The procedures and how it works.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was not attended by most of the members. I also recall there was a decision taken by the government to call for the names of those MPs who did not attend the meeting, the training. Unfortunately, we have to inculcate discipline, because it says the fish rots from the head and it goes downwards. Basically, what we could see in the public sector, everything is now rotten. Let me say it that way.
Right. Now then,
Come on, Basil, but still, sorry, I nearly called you Basil. I'm sorry about it. But the thing is, these are taught at home. You don't have to go to Parliament training sessions, not to fight with each other, not to give blows that people are watching. These are taught at home. They don't have to have training sessions for that.
No, there are things that needs to be trained. There are things that need to be taught. Basically, this kind of training is needed. Unfortunate situation is, in Parliament, long years ago, we had people, I would say it this way, more refined, educated, say decent people. Over a period of time, this has changed. It has come to a situation now, it looks, let me say this way again, we have educated
since
people.
you are free, you can be very blunt. You don't have to be diplomatic.
Yes, you're not at Pressifac.
Yeah, you're not at Pressifac.
I'm
Please
not
be
scared,
free
but
and be
You've got
blunt.
all these people out there,
just
waiting to be told why they've woken up this morning to listen to this program.
And to new Lasil De Silva.
Now,
please name
Aristotle, in his own way, had said we are all animals. I wonder whether we have also appointed wild beasts to that extent in Parliament.
Please
because
don't
there's-
insult animals. Less on the beast, please.
Because this is not what I have said, right?
This is what Aristotle said.
This is what Aristotle said, right?
Right.
So I'm just trying to say, but anyway, we need more educated, not political people in that sense. We need more religious people. We need more
we don't need monks in
disciplined people.
Parliament.
No,
Come
we
on,
don't
we
need.
don't need them.
No. But we need that kind of intellectuals, I would say. Right? It has come to a situation where things have got aggravated, basically because.
But you
I
have
believe-
lawyers, you have doctors, you have engineers there in Parliament.
No.
So when they go there, they change.
It is the problem because they have no say. Now, see, this is not the first time that this kind of eruptions, took place.
That's
Now,
right. They had an all-night sit-in.
there was an all-night ceremony, right? So they were provided with meals, all that. Now,
At whose expense?
At whose expense again? It's against
people's expense.
right? My problem is, my difficulty is actually we have to enforce rules, regulations, because standing orders are there, the Privileges Act is there. All these, I believe, could be considered as contempt of Parliament, for that matter. It is a contempt of Parliament, and at the same time, when they now even Erskine May speaks of
You're on a high today, Tolstoy,
privileges,
Erskine May.
Aristotle.
privileges, right? Various immunities that had been granted for what? In order to do the kind of service to the members, to the public, freedom from arrest, freedom of speech, all that had been given in order to strengthen the.
But Faraz, didn't you suggest yesterday? Was it you who suggested that, like the military police, you need
Yes.
parliamentary police?
It was a viewer
Yes.
from Mount Lavinia. That's a coincidence.
Yes.
Right? But he said that we've got all sorts of police. We've got the military police, and now we'll need the parliamentary police. Can't we lock them up? Why is it that they've only been given a 1-week suspension for degrading, for bringing disgrace to the Parliament
And to the country.
and
No,
to the country, and
yeah.
lowering the democratic traditions? They've been given 1 week.
Yes, that may be probably.
That's not even that.
That may be probably because there was a committee appointed, and the committee may
Two-man
have
committee.
Yeah,
But what
man.
is this committee? This
What's
is
this?
a committee of their own. Why can't we have some retired Supreme Court judge? Why can't we have somebody like that?
yeah, you could certainly, because in UK the famous expenses scandal, right? And that on that basis, the then Prime Minister, I think if it is right, John Major, decided to appoint an independent commission, right? That was called Independent Parliament Standards Agency. Now,
Yeah, but
Lord
let's
not-
forget UK. But like Faraz
No,
is
what
asking,
I'm
why
trying to-
not? I mean, let's okay.
Yeah, now.
If you can come to the-
Faraz asked me a question. Can't we have an independent
Yeah.
person?
Yeah.
I believe there is a possibility where we could always appoint someone independent, because if our mother parliament, if they are in a position to appoint somebody, a respected senior judge, Lord Nolan, right? Why can't we also consider someone from the judiciary, maybe at the Supreme Court, from the Supreme Court or whatever? I think there is provision, there is a possibility, but here they have probably decided to appoint a committee from within. So that's the committee. which-
Yeah, but Leslie, when you were in charge, you did nothing. Now you are quoting freely. You are giving us history lessons and all that. But if you had acted sternly, it shouldn't have slipped so low.
what could
Even
you
though
have
you
done?
fought with Vijamu Lokubandar, why is that?
Basically, this is why I say, my purview was within the secretariat. I had no role to play with the members of parliament. That is
Admin.
that
you
is
did
Secretary
admin.
General's job,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
I know now. Even last night, apparently, there has been some problem where there was a problem with regard to the counting of votes and
Yes,
things like
that's
that,
true,
right?
yeah.
So I mean, that's not my role. That is the role of the Secretary General, and the Secretary General is the main, the advisor, or at least he works in that capacity.
But you took on Vijaymu Lukubandar, the former speaker, and you won.
Yeah,
you
basically that is because, I personally felt...
So you're a giant killer, lesson.
No, there are requirements. I personally think, that, like what I said, in Parliament also, not only the need to look after members of Parliament, not only to improve their performance, it has to be definitely with regard to the Secretariat too. Because I have taken up the position from day one. The Parliament, when we were in the old Parliament, we had about 150 personnel, right? Now, having shifted to the present Parliament, we have about nearly, now it's about 1,800.
But pardon me, Leslie, you're giving long-winded answers. Can you say 1 week is enough or not? Give us yes or no.
Let me say it this way. Parliament is a place where they have to maintain discipline. You can always suspend.
Yeah, but
even
1 month, 2 months,
admonitions, even expulsions, right? I don't know to what extent they have taken up.
What do you propose?
I mean, without going into detail.
Citizen,
as a citizen, this is not good enough, because discipline the Parliament. You have to take very stern action. We have seen.
So, Leslie recommends expulsion or 2 months.
Not that I can recommend. But
Faraz will say 1 year. I will say something else.
No, definitely 1 week suspension. Then there's a question, right? With the suspension, there are again things like, whether it carries the pay, all that, right? There can be situations like that.
They should, like cricketers are fined from their
unfortunate situation.
So you should do that.
When you impose a punishment, it must be in keeping with the nature of the punishment, the offense, right? Here, if they have considered there is no serious breach of privilege, because parliamentary privileges, all that has been provided to members of Parliament for the performance of their duties towards the people. And in here, what they have done is they have disrupted. There was a bill that was due to be taken up on that day. They couldn't proceed with the bill. They had to, after half an hour's sittings, they had to suspend the whole thing. So this is not what is expected of. Where are the privileges if that is the case?
Let's find out what is expected after this short commercial break. Time to get a new cup of tea in your hands. Stay tuned to Newsline.
Newsfirst Newsline. Newsfirst Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.
Welcome back to Newsline, and we hope you've got your cup of tea ready, because we're going to ask Leslie De Silva, former Director Administration of Parliament, this. We had an MP yesterday, Dilum Amunagama, on this program. He said that this whole thing started because the Prime Minister chose...
The dear Prime Minister,
Adaraniya
Agamati.
He chose to trivialize the question that had been posed, and it just deflected it to somebody, in this case not connected to the question, Field Marshal Fonseca, who had a prepared text in front of him from which he's proceeded to read. So the people are saying that this was a fix. Now then, is there a procedure for who should answer the question?
Generally, it has to be answered by the person who is responsible. Now, in this particular case, I believe it is the Prime Minister, because he stood up and he said he doesn't know the technical terms and all that, and passed it on. I would also feel a lot better provided if they could re-strategize their pattern of, procedure, in the sense thinking and the style of a governance, because unfortunately there was an eruption, probably due to...
Is there a procedure that this is a question to do with law and order, and the government can choose who should answer the question?
Sagala or Ruwan?
Anybody.
This is the right thing to do, because the minister in charge.
But what's the law? What's the rule? What's the training program?
The law, in the sense there is no specific rule, but unfortunate situation is, I think, when the former army commander stood up. Sarath Fonseca got up.
But he's not the subject minister.
Yeah, this is the problem. This could have been one reason how the eruption,
Well, we don't want to whitewash the so-called joint opposition.
Yes.
Because we also know that they ask these questions. They're very pedantic, and there was no question of withdrawing the former president's security detail. It was merely an exchange from the military to an elite squad of the police. And that position has always been maintained by the Ministry of Defence. So to ask these questions a bit pedantic, but of course they have their right. But my question is, does the Prime Minister, is he within the rules to permit somebody else to answer the question as opposed to the subject minister, who is his long-term confidant?
It could have been a lot better if the subject minister replied. Yes. Elaborated on the whole thing.
And Rasil, since you have been a very experienced person who have been working in the parliament, I mean, I see a very aggressive Dinesh Gunawardena. How do you see that? Should Dinesh calm down, or is it becoming more aggressive as he ages? It's getting very aggressive.
And this is the problem, I have known him for a long time now. I respected him for good reasons, but I also personally feel this could have been a lot better if he could definitely slow it down,
Slow it down after all these years as a firebrand leftist politician.
No.
Come on, get real.
No,
Bless you.
let me say it this way.
The Sinhala saying, Hatha Pirunat Vandura Bhima Noai.
Yeah, slow it down in the sense, I believe he is carrying out a mission. But whether it is in conflict,
Mission impossible or mission possible?
whether it is in conflict with the procedures and all that in Parliament is the reason why it could be slowed down, I mean, it has to be a little bit, I would say...
So basically, Bandula, it appears to me that once again it is our dear Prime Minister who is at the heart of all this.
Adaraniya Agamati.
Yes, because people say to me that I keep going on about that chap, but come on, this is what it is. We are reflecting what the people are
Do
saying.
you think he became a mischief maker? He's got a great sense of humor now, right?
Well, I don't know. It's all misplaced in this.
But I would also say, a viewer told me yesterday, if he should not try to be the old fox like his uncle. Those foxy days are gone. This is what this viewer is telling me. The foxy days are gone. JR was known as old fox.
Yeah.
Others outfoxed him, but let's deal directly. That's what this viewer was saying.
But
agree?
What can we do? These people have breached standing orders, and they've brought disrepute to the
Parliament.
And the country.
Parliament. They've
This
used
world
physical
news.
violence, and they've moved away from standing orders, and they end up with 1 week.
Yes.
1 week. This is 1 week. There's the time he's going to spend in the hospital.
I know. I think it's a decision that needs to be reconsidered, like what you asked me with regard to this in other countries, and even in other countries these things have happened. They have come out with various other proposals where an independent person could go into it and then decide as to
I
what
want
sort
to
of-
say this. On the day of this,
Yeah.
one of our reporters posted onto our little group. It's not a little group, it's quite a big group. A little clip of proceedings from the British Parliament. And in there, the Speaker says that it's up to the government, they can choose who they want, it's their prerogative as to who will answer whatever question it was. But in that proceedings, the Speaker noticed the Secretary of Health, the serving Secretary of Health, was busy doing this on his phone, right? And he was doing this. And he was reminded once that it is poor manners, if nothing else, to keep fiddling while the others are talking to him. And he then asked him again, and finally he said, "You can leave." He was ejected from the chamber for displaying bad manners by using, his phone. Now that's what I'm trying to say. It's a small matter. He's using his phone. He's texting, but this is physical violence. Blood has been spilled. If we were subject to the Sharia law, we'd have been in serious trouble.
To add from what Faraz said, Lasil, do you think the present speaker, is too good or too lenient? Because you have dealt with speakers,
the same thing erupted. Say when former speaker was there. Actually, the
Lasil, I know. I mean, without comparison, can you say yes or no?
It is soft.
Yeah. Right. Everybody knows that something more rigid, something firm needs to be done. Right? Because
is Karu Jayasuri the right person?
Yeah, but you need.
Is it yes or no?
Let's just say you are a free person.
I know.
Yes,
we're trying to encourage you.
But you need a good moderator, and he's a good moderator, right? Because you can't be. You have to have a person like that. But
as well,
when it comes to decisions, or when it comes to taking steps with regard to a similar.
Well, we wrote to him, and we asked him for something or other, and we haven't had the courtesy.
They're still waiting.
We haven't had the courtesy of a response.
I know there are problems in the public sector. There are
not them. So is he too lenient or not? Yes or no?
Yes or no?
I can't say yes, because a person who has to be a speaker has to be a person who can definitely weigh things properly, look into all these things without any attachment at all, with in a detached way. So things are being done, I would say, in a way without creating unnecessary problems.
How was your friend Vijayamu Lokubandar? How was he? Was he firm? How was Chamal Rajapaksa? You have experience. How were they?
I would say, one of the best speakers we have had recently, whatever said and done, Joseph Michael Pereira, then M.H. Mohammed, however, whatever the background they came from, it doesn't matter. They did their job. They came up with a lot of proposals and they wanted to implement. Unfortunate thing is they couldn't.
You ignored Chamal Rajapaksa.
I would like to say it this way.
I must ask you this. What do you say about Gamini Fonseca?
He was a deputy speaker, and
right.
He was a deputy speaker.
He was much loved.
Yes. He was loved, and he was affectionate.
He was firm,
He was a valued.
But as the speaker, we had different people. Now see, like what I said, I don't think we have had anyone to long years ago, Stanley Tilakaratne, right? They were good people, but unfortunately you have to elect a good person. I think Mr.
But I think Mr. Stanley Tilakaratne and so on would have had an easier time, because we didn't have such low levels of behavior from parliamentarians.
Outdated parliamentarians.
But when the need arose, they were firm. Yeah. Unfortunately, we have to have somebody who could be very firm.
No, but this is disgusting.
This is disgusting, I would say.
Maybe we should have for somebody like Tewara Peruma as speaker,
But I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, he can be firm.
The former president had a sense of humor that was all on its own, in a different orbit. If you recall, Bandula, he made Mervyn Silva the minister in charge of
public relations
with the media.
The media for a short time after the attack,
exactly.
The incident in Rupa.
Exactly. Yeah, so he had a warped sense of humor, and then we were all subject to this thing.
Very interesting comment from a viewer.
Yeah.
Okay, deputy, all right. As Mohammed, like Ranil, did not retire. Even though he didn't go to that school which says learn or depart. You have to learn or depart. Once upon a time he didn't learn, he didn't depart, but he stays.
Unfortunately, again, people are to be blamed, because who are the politicians now representing our country at the national level? Because it is very unfortunate,
But what is astonishing is, and you're not saying this, I'm going to say it, What is astonishing is that none of these people, they're all pussyfooting around. Why don't they get round and say and point the finger at the right person, the cause of this problem in the
Yes,
parliament?
like our
and that
two-
was the Prime Minister, by trivializing these issues. This is not the first time.
Yeah.
When they don't want to answer something, they trivialize it, not only in this government, even in the previous one. So it's essential that we all think back to the March the 12th movement, in which we urged them to have
Better people
elected, sober, liberal, level-headed representatives to represent you in Parliament.
Good for us that you're saying it straight, because I hope Basil will not go around the mulberry bush.
No.
He should
No
give,
mulberry
give
bush,
us
yeah.
direct answers. You're a free man, Basil.
Yeah, but
No buts.
Lasil, it's been wonderful having you on the program. We urge you to be more independent, but you need to watch out, because we were independent, this network, and look what happened to us. We were stoned, Claymore bombed, and
But that didn't change. We
And,
continue to be independent.
And last year, as it was pointed out, we had a rather strange year, because we were not stoned, we were not Claymore bombed, and guess what? We grew our business.
But we didn't have all that, but we have Farah Shaukat Ali.
Thank you for having watched Newsline. Do take care, have a great day, and God bless you.
Newsfirst Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.